All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual set to throw down at a looming BKFC Fight Night, which is going down in Clearwater. And May 2nd is going to be what a lot of people are calling the most stacked BKFC Fight Night they've done. And we have Ryan Reber knuckling up and towing the line against Matt Guymon. And great having Ryan on Bare Knuckle Bowker. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing good. It seems like you're very locked in from a lot of the social media posts that I'm seeing. I saw you had a post saying, I get to unleash everything that's been built up inside me for the past 6 months. What has been inside you for the past 6 months since your BKFC bantamweight title bid?
Man, just a lot mentally, man, a lot. So, obviously because I really did truly feel and think in my heart that I could defeat Blas, and I still know I can defeat Blas. Went out there and I didn't have my T's crossed or my I's dotted, man, and I had to go back through through the whole process of elimination. You know what I mean? Like, okay, was this the problem? Was this the problem? Was this the problem? You know what I mean? And you go through everything, whether it's the way I was training, the things that I was consuming, putting in my body, the things I was doing mentally to prepare myself, man. And I just been working so hard on making sure all those things were corrected. So I had to cut some people off, and I had to do some things differently, and those things I've done, and I'm just super excited to go out there and showcase my new, everything I've been working on. And to have to sit there with that in mind, after going out the way that I went out was like probably, in my opinion, one of the worst possible ways you could go out, even as a man, to just mentally and physically defeat yourself and, go out there and have the performance that I've had, man, because that's not who I am and that's not what I've trained for. So, that has to sit, you know, with me, and I had to deal with those things, and I kind of went off on the deep end a little bit because I was there, man. I was right there. I had the belt in sight. I had it in my hands. I had Conor McGregor there. I had, you know, all my friends and family there, or at least a lot of them, man. And, it was my son's first ever BKFC show. And, I wasn't me, man. I wasn't there. So I get to redeem that. I get to redeem myself. I get to show my fans and my support that that wasn't me, because it wasn't. And I look to prove that. So come May 2nd, it's gonna be fireworks, man. I've been so locked in. It's crazy to say that I was even more locked in than I am for the title fight. So it's gonna be exciting, man. It's gonna be good, and
Yeah,
I'm
maybe it could
looking
be.
forward to it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. There was a bit of a delay on my end. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I was just saying I'm looking forward to it, my man. Just looking forward to showcasing what I got.
So, just a very interesting situation because, I mean, you talk about being more motivated for this one, and I do kind of get that in a sense because you were talking about being, so close to the belt. It's just like a thing that's very tangible. You can almost taste it. So, I would think that for someone like you, it would really ignite a flame to kind of get back to that point. It seems
Well,
like that's
and,
what's
and
going on.
everything in life, man, happens for a very specific reason, and I understand that. So why it happened, I'm not sure, but what I could tell you, what I got from it happening is you don't, what do you learn if you win all the time? You know what I'm saying? You learn nothing, from winning all the time. So it was almost like something the universe forced into me, forced me to have to lose, you know what I mean? Just to refine myself and to figure out the things that are truly important during the process. There was things that I did behind closed doors that I shouldn't have been doing. There was things that I did in training wise that I shouldn't have been doing. There was places that I went that I shouldn't have went. You know what I mean? And in saying that and knowing that, those are the things that I corrected this time around. So, for example, like even going to the Miami show, I was still probably 8 to 9 weeks out from my fight, didn't touch alcohol, didn't even think about alcohol, just, things like that, and being in an environment where there is fights and there is people drinking, there is people partying, and the after parties looked absolutely amazing. Like, bro, I would have loved to have been around Connor and, at least talked to him and told him, like, hey, man, I'm sorry for, my performance and how things turned out. But it's not time for that yet. I don't care about none of that stuff. The only thing I care about is making the wrong things right and going out there and showing who I truly am and showing what I didn't get to put on display the last time. So, it's the locked in aspect. That's how I know, it's different and that I'm locked in and things are going to be different this time around. You know what I mean? Let's not forget I ran it all the way to the top, undefeated. And this was my hiccup, man. And I always knew in the back of my mind, like if I'm going to lose a fight, I'm I would like to lose it to the guy that's knocking everybody out in the first fucking round. You know what I mean? The guy who's the undisputed, champion. So, it would suck to go out to a guy that was 1-1 or 1-0 or even 3-0 or somebody who was underneath me because where I sit right now, every fight could arguably be a backwards fight. You know what I mean? Like even looking at this fight right now, like Matt Guymon is actually 2-0 in bare knuckle, but he's 1-0 in the organization. So he looks like a tough, good challenging fight for me to, come back for. And, I had some other options, but those options didn't quite make sense. And people can, say what they wanted to say or, put the post out how they want to put, like I was scared or I was running. Listen, I fear no man, especially in the 135 division. You know what I mean? None of them fear me. So, I'll fight each and every one of them if that's what I had to do to get back up to the top position. But where I'm at right now, you know, things got to make sense. So, one of the names that they threw at me, I said okay to, but as far as my team, I got a really good team of guys around me that were like, no, we don't like that fight for you right now. So, you're not going to take it. And I have to be smart. I have to just not do what I want to do. I have to listen to my team, the people who are around me, the people who are training with me, the people who know me. So, now that I got that team around me that really truly cares about me and wants to see me win and wants to put me in the best situation I can be in, those are my people. Those are the people I'm listening to, So it's, the final decision isn't, yes, it's from me, but I make it with my team. You know what I mean? So it's not just something that I'd be like, oh, okay, you want me to fight him? Yeah, let's fight him. No, it's not how it works, man. So, you know, have to do things the right way this time, man, in order to achieve the right result.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's a situation where you had an undefeated streak going into the Blas fight, former bantamweight title contender. Like it probably would get to a point where you have to be somewhat calculated about the matchups. Like you said, you'd fight anyone in a certain sense, but it has to kind of align with, your progression and just what you're doing
Absolutely.
too.
Because at the end of the day, it's a business, man. You know what I mean? And so many people think they can just jump into my inbox, talk some shit real quick, and that's going to land them in a fight. Sometimes that's the case. It was the case for Shady. It was the case for this guy, Matt Guymon, because originally it was somebody who I was going to fight in Connecticut. Things got fucked up weird. I don't know what happened. The card got too full. I was supposed to be on it. Then, things got
Seems like a bit of connectivity issues with Ryan Reber, the current number 4 ranked bantamweight contender in the BKFC as of this recording. Hope to get him back in the meeting room here soon. Cover a couple more subjects related to this upcoming card and just the bantamweight division at large. Definitely one of the more established contenders in that weight category and a wealth of insights for sure. All right, just messaging Ryan a bit there. Looks like he's trying to get back into the old participants box in this sweet little Zoom meeting that you're peeping as Bare Knuckle Bowker, welcoming into your life on YouTube. And you know what? I'm realizing I never do the whole like, comment, subscribe gimmick. So if you're here checking this out, subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment. You could even say something rude, but it looks like we have Ryan popping back up here.
And I'm sorry about that. They still gonna get a hold of me even when I put my phone on do not disturb.
Yeah,
I was
no worries,
like,
man.
man, I was like, bro, 30 minutes, bro, 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, no worries, man. Just, yeah, I mean, very interesting time in the division and everything like that. And I mean, you're always a fixture. I was kind of just mentioning your place in the bantamweight hierarchy to the viewers while you were off the call there, but just curious to get your insights on what you would see as the next step in the division. Because I mean, relatively recent, I guess like a couple weeks ago there, Justin Ibarrola got that victory over Abdiel Velasquez, and it would seem like based on how the rankings are laid out, he would be the next one to contend for the title. Do you see Blas versus Justin Ibarrola Sanchez being the next bantamweight title fight in BKFC?
I mean, it should, but I could just tell by Justin's demeanor and the way that he's going about things that he don't want that smoke right now, man. Those guys know that Blas is not one to be fucking messed with, bro. You know what I mean? It's going to take every bit of everything you possess to take that man out. I mean, just look at what he's done to the division. I mean, I'm no fucking pushover by any means. He did me dirty quick. He did Keith real dirty quick. And Keith is a guy that I feel like would give Justin real problems. You know what I mean? Justin hasn't really fought anybody top tier yet. You know what I'm saying? Like Abby Velasquez, I trained with Abby a lot. Abby was one of the main reasons why I'm in BKFC right now. So I know a lot about Abby, and I know a lot was going on with him leading up to this fight. I know somebody very close to him had passed away like 4 days prior, and he was trying to get out of the fight, but there was no way he could get out of it. You know what I mean? So mentally, he wasn't there. And let's not forget that Abby is naturally a 125er. And that's not to take anything away from Justin. Like, I like the kid. He's doing his thing. I'm not going to sit here and be a fucking hater on him. But at the end of the day, I see what he's doing and I know what he's doing. And, you know, I think he's trying to stay away from Blas as long as he can to hopefully it changes hands or something else happens and whatever. So, you know, I'm not overlooking Matt Guymon, but once we get past Matt Guymon, I mean, if he's too scared to fight Blas, let me take your fucking spot and I'll fight Blas again. You know what I mean? So it really don't matter to me, man. You know what I mean? Like I think it's looking like me and him should be up next anyway, or that fight's very close to looming around. You know what I mean? So and stylistically, it's a good fight for both of us. It challenges him, it challenges me, and it gives me his you know, a chance to get my spot back, my number one spot. So um, after Matt, that's the fight that I would like, and I see, you know what I mean, in the future. So you know, we'll just see how things play out, and we'll see what happens, man. I know there's a Miami card coming up once again in was that June or July? I seen maybe. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, I seen there was I think it popping up again in July. So you know things to watch out for and look forward to, man. But you know I don't overlook my opponents, and I'm not gonna just plan like he does for you know can plan for the future a little bit, but I ain't gonna like I said, man. Let's get done what I gotta get done first, and then we discuss what's next. You know, I got my eyes on the up and coming prize right now. We're about 2.5 weeks out, about 2 weeks out actually. And you know, that's what I'm tuned in for, man. I'm not overlooking him and I'm not looking too far into the future yet. So we'll see what happens.
Well, you do seem very focused on this particular fight because you referenced his bare knuckle arc with one fight in a different promotion and then his BKFC debut, which was the sophomore fight. And you were also kind of alluding to a certain level of encroaching into the DMs and trying to campaign for a fight. What's the whole backstory in all of this? What are your thoughts on, I guess, not just his skill set and resume in bare knuckle, but also how he went about trying to campaign for this fight, which seemingly worked in his favor, I guess?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, we were supposed to be Connecticut. Now, I didn't get the contract. My manager gets the contract, and I sign it through them. So the talks were, yup, contracts in. We're just waiting on one other thing. What other thing we were waiting on? I have no idea. So push came to shove. All of a sudden, Struden, what's his name? Yeah, I'm having a brain fart right now. Who Strude just fought? Who's another all-in guy? Randall. Uh, that fight all of a sudden got thrown on there because there was also talks about me fighting Randall because Randall fucking called me out talking about he's the king of New England and this, that, and the other thing. And I kind of took that offensively. And then plus we're on the same management. So I had called Vic and I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like, why is he calling me out? He's like, hey, man, I think he's just trying to be a showman and trying to get a fight. I said, bro, I'll fucking fight him. I said, line that up. He was like, no, 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 no. That don't make sense. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I mean, he's kind of right. It doesn't make any sense. But if you want to run your fucking mouth and talk about you, the king of New England, we could settle this over in Connecticut. Said, if that's what y'all want to do. So then somehow or another, my fight got pushed to the side. And that fight was maybe in their eyes a better sell, I guess. And put that fight on and then proceeded on telling me that you need to basically pay your way if you want to fight. I was like, I mean, I'm cool with that, but this wasn't in the contract or in the discussion, and we're 3 weeks out. I can't do that. I don't know that I could sell 10K in tickets in 3 weeks without you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I had some shit lined up, and I think I did 7K last time I was out there, and that was with just family members. So I know I could have pushed that, but you got to give me more time, man. So I said, no, I'm not doing that. And then Matt Guymon decided I'm going to make a Facebook post and not even tag Reber in it. And I was brought to my attention by my little brother who's seen it, was like, bro, he's talking cash shit, saying you're scared and you're running and blah, blah. I said, bro, who gives a fuck? Let him talk. Let him think that's what happened. So all of a sudden, Justin Martinez felt like he needed to tag me in the post because Matt Guymon didn't tag me in the post. And I don't care, bro. Like, I'm like, whatever, bro, let them talk. So when he tagged me in the post, I felt obligated to tune in. So I got on the post and I started running my mouth. I was like, you know what? Y'all are fucking crazy to think I'm scared to fight you, bro. I fought way better opposition, in my opinion. I said, so, okay, bro, that's how you feeling? So we kind of went back and forth on Facebook. And then I inboxed him. And I said, listen, man. I said, let me show you what the fuck is going on. And I showed him the messages between my manager and Nate Shook saying what was going on. And he kind of probably felt kind of stupid. Like, and then he was like, oh, well, you got to admit it was kind of funny. You know, I said, yeah, bro, I thought it was fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? You try to act like I'm running from you, bro. Like, hey, cool, bro. Whatever makes you feel better. You know, so I told him, I said, you're going to get what you're asking for, man. I hear there's a Miami card coming up, and I had no idea about the Clearwater card. And I don't think they realized that I could single-handedly sell that whole venue myself. And I told them that's what I was going to do. And I did almost just that. I mean, I'm about probably around 19K in ticket sales right now. And I promise you, I could have sold that whole venue myself. I could have sold every single VIP seat, every single table, every single general admission. And I could have done that. You know what I mean? And I kind of sold myself a little bit short, and this show ended up selling out. I got people right now pissed off at me because I don't have tickets available and there's none on the site. So that's what I do for my promotion, for myself, is that's what I bring. So I went from just being on the card to being co-main event with the ticket sales and the revenue that I'm bringing to BKFC. And I mean, the venue's literally 5 minutes from my house. I could walk there if I really wanted to, but we gonna Uber. We're gonna get dropped off front in Uber. I mean, I could literally warm up in my living room, have them text my phone like, "Hey, you're about to be on," and you know, walk right into the venue and just go whoop some ass, and then go right to the after party. You know what I mean? That's how close the venue is, man. And that's why I'm saying, like, you know, they want to make things about business and about money. Well, I'm one of those fucking guys that can do that. And, you know, that makes me, in my opinion, a very valuable asset to the bare knuckle game. And, you know, like I said, that's just who I am and what I'm willing to do, you know? So it was easy work for me, man, to really just sell that place out, man. So everything I pay attention, man, because first off, shit ain't free. You have to pay attention. That's, in my opinion, the ultimate form of currency is to pay attention. And, I pay attention to pretty much everything that's going on and around me, and how I'm going to do things and what my next move is going to be. And it lined up universally perfect to happen. So we got the opponent we wanted, we got the venue we wanted, I got the things that I wanted, and now I got to do my part and make it happen. Put on an absolute performance, absolute great performance. And that's where I'm at with it, man.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. And a bit earlier, you were talking about how you were at that BKFC 70 card. Like, obviously, keeping it professional and, in line for this fight you have coming up. But I felt like one of the big things that came out of that event was some people intimating that maybe McGregor was teasing the fact that he might not be competing again. Like, it seemed like in the post-fight presser, he was talking about a certain level of contentment and his accomplishments. And I felt like a lot of people, I guess, interpreted that as maybe him saying like he might not be getting out there again. Like, do you have any thought one way or the other in terms of if you think Conor McGregor fights again?
I mean, I doubt it. I doubt it, man. Why? Why? I mean, the why would be why not? You know what I'm saying? To say like, hey, as whatever his role is, owner slash owner, or it would make sense at the end of the day for him to just to try it out. But let me tell you something. Us as fighting athletes, we're no dummies, and we know what this sport comes with. Why do you think not a lot of people are just quick to be like, oh yeah, I'm a bare knuckle fight? Because this is a dog sport for real. You know what I'm saying? This ain't fucking boxing. This ain't MMA. This ain't kickboxing. It's raw on raw, man. It's different. It is different. So you can go out there just like I did and think all the highest in the world and get hit with that kill shot, which is that eye shot. Boom, and you're cooked. What are you gonna do? I got hit with that eye shot and I ate his shot to the chin, knocked me down, got back up. As soon as he hit me in the eyeball, I thought my eyeball was rolling around on the canvas, bro. I was really scared. I was like, fuck, man, fuck. And when I get back up, I'm gonna get fucking pummeled again. And this, that maybe I do go out, my lights get put out, or I break a jaw, or something even worse fucking happens. So I had to fucking eat that, and that was just something I didn't want. I didn't want to eat that night. I didn't. You look at me in the Perez fight. I came back from the dead and continued to onslaught on him, and in my mind, in my body, in my heart, I couldn't even do that with Blas because of the shot that I took, man. It was just, and it was something, and I was so mad at myself because it was a shot that I never should even have got hit with. So, that was another thing that I had mentally thinking about, and like why and how, and, whatever. But you can't sit here and cry over spilt milk, man. What are you going to do about it is what is what's next is the ultimate question, is the ultimate feeling. Like, no, we're not going to sit here and, well, yeah, you look like shit, or yeah, this, or yeah, no, what are you going to do next? Is that's what it is. What's going to happen next? So, I guess May 2nd, everybody's going to find out what's going to happen next. So, I mean, as far as for Matt Guymon, I truly, honestly, this ain't a good fight for you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Me coming off that fucking loss, me being in my hometown, like, he thinks that shit's gonna be sweet until you get there and there's 200 people chanting my fucking name, and that energy is just so real and it's so raw, and you almost can't get yourself, you get hypnotized, man. That's what happened to me in Miami. You get hypnotized. You don't even know where you're at. The energy just leaves your fucking body. You know what I mean? So he better hope his mental's on point. He better hope his fucking fight game's on point. He better hope his gas tank's on point. He better hope all of that's on point. Because if he didn't cross his T's and dot his I's, it could be a long night for him, or it could be an early night for him. You know what I mean? And, I know he's coming to fight. I know he wants my spot and wants where I'm at, so it ain't gonna be no easy task. The only way that can make it an easy task is by putting all this hard work in this preparation. Then I can make it an easy task, But there's only one way to find out. May 2nd. So, it's gonna be fucking fireworks, man. He wants what I want, and I want back what I desperately worked so hard for, and that's that number one spot slash belt. That's all I want. The only thing I think about is the rematch with Blas, because I want to be the one to give him that work. Because like I said in the beginning, what better way to just cement my name in the legacy by beating the guy who's knocking everybody out in the first round. You know what I mean? And that's where my mind was during that fight. But unfortunately, that the events leading up to it, the things I was doing behind closed doors, the amount of training that I was doing and wearing myself completely out, the people that I had around me that really didn't understand or know what they were doing with a high level athlete, all those things play a huge factor in what's going on. This isn't just about going down, biting down in your mouthpiece and swinging. Then it's 50-50. You know what I mean? We're not trying to have no 50-50 fight, man. I'm trying to go out there, outclass you, outmove you, outwork you, all of those things. And how do you do that? Preparation. What are you doing behind closed doors? And I could tell you what, by watching a guy like Blas, that boy's on point. He ain't in the club. He ain't partying. He ain't drinking. He's fucking working. You know what I mean? So the athlete who puts in the most work and who is dead ass serious about it is going to be the athlete who has his hand raised at the end of the fight. Now, if you put two guys in that center that are both put in work, that are both on a good spiritual and mental level, that are both, basically on the same talent level, that's going to make for a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make for fireworks. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a short night for either guy. You know what I mean? It's going to come down to the fucking nitty gritty when you're talking about that. But obviously it showed what I did behind closed doors, how I was training, what I was doing for training, what I was doing for mental work. It all showed that night. So I can't lie to myself. I can't sit here and be like, I don't know why that happened. I don't know why I went down. I know why. I know why. And now it's time to fix it. Now it's time to be a fucking man about it and fix it. Because I cried into a little hole and swallowed it up for a little bit and, did some things I probably shouldn't have done. But, I also, my coach, Nick Ruiz, brought me back from the dead, said, bro, you ain't gonna not come to the gym. Get your ass in. That's my personal training guy. That's who personal trains Dave. That's who personal trains Jessica Borga. That's who personal. And look at those guys. He was with Julian. I got Julian staying at my house. Look what was the outcome of his last fight. So you're looking at a guy who's developing us to not only beat people, but knock them the fuck out. And that's what we're doing behind closed doors. I don't just train once a day. I don't just go to the boxing gym and call it a night. No, I'm really real deal doing this. You know what I'm saying? I got a personal trainer. I got who's also my nutritionist. And those are things that I had before. I just didn't have it at a high level. Now I got a doctor that I see, get my blood work done, make sure all my levels are good, make sure, I don't have too much of this or not enough of that, or, my magnesia, everything. You know what I mean? These things are super important if you want to fight at the highest level, man. And these are things like you guys got to understand. I never fought at a high level. I never fought even in the amateurs at a high level. I always trained like I fought at a high level. I could show you a bunch of fancy, beautiful movements that prove that I could fight at a high level, but to lock in and do it mentally, it's a whole different thing, man. So I never had that. Now I understand it. Now I understand that these people are backed by money. I understand that he could weigh in one day and be two weight classes bigger the next day. I have to mentally prepare for things like that. Those were things that I didn't mentally prepare for. I mean, the haters are going to tell me, oh, it was wrong and he didn't reweigh in that. I know what I heard. When he walked down those fucking stairs with the doctor, we're only in a little tent area, and we reweigh back in. I reweighed back in at 141 with all my shit on. He reweighed back in at 154. That's two weight classes bigger than what you weighed in at. I almost shit myself when I heard that. I was like, what? I looked at my coach, and I was like, how? And then the only thing that was running through my mind is, oh my God, he's going to fuck me up. Oh my God. I couldn't even fucking get it out of my head how big he was. And does it matter? No, it doesn't fucking matter. He could have been 200 pounds that day. This shit doesn't matter, but I let it matter. And that's why I'm saying I beat myself mentally. You know what I mean? So what do we do to fix that? We prepare for that. I know now, okay, this is just the name of the game. Look at John Dotson. You know what I'm saying? He does the same shit. Weighs in at 125, rehydrates back, because it's an old wrestler trick. You're talking about a guy who fought on the fucking wrestling Olympic team for the Cubans. He's been doing this shit since he was 3. You know what I'm saying? And when you compete for a country like that, that ain't like the U.S., that's their belt. You're fighting for them. You don't get a say so. I'm sure he didn't have a say so when he was a kid. Kid wanted to probably go to the fucking park and play, and his dad or the people were taking care of him like, you're going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym today. Doesn't fucking matter what you want. You know what I mean? That's the level of people we're competing against. Those people are going to be hard to beat, man. So Justin knows that. Justin knows that. And that's why he came out with his own fucking belt. Like, come on, bro. And then you're calling out Uriah Faber, like, bro, he's ducking Albert. And I don't disagree with him for that. Yeah, you want to keep that fucking O, you better not go there. You know what I'm saying? Not right now, anyway. Not until you've had a scrap with a guy like a Travis Thompson or a guy. I mean, look, he did quick work with Perez, but like the Perez fight, Perez was damaged goods in that fight. I mean, he literally took a fucking hellacious ass beating like 2 months prior to that by what was that? What was the fight he did, man, where they stopped it when he was still standing on his feet, but he was getting pummeled. Was it Dylan Schulte when he just fought Dylan? I forget where the card was, but I mean, he had a tough ass fight there. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, you're fighting Justin Ibarrola. And the same thing, Justin hit him with the kill shot. He hit him directly in the fucking eyeball. And when I tell you he was a couple notches tougher than Travis. And Travis is one of the toughest human beings I've ever met. You know what I mean? I couldn't even fucking believe. Like, I'm talking about the first punch I hit him with, I knocked his tooth out. Knocked his front tooth completely loose. Ate that, he did. Then I cut him from here to here, and I could see his skull. And I still didn't knock him down. And Justin hits him with that lucky fucking eye shot, and he couldn't take it. Couldn't fucking take it. He was like, I'm done. I can't see. You know what I mean? And that's what I say about the sport. If you could be first and you could land that kill shot, got a very good chance of winning. And I mean, when I look back at, my opponent, Matt Guymon, he don't have the experience yet. You fought one guy who was out of shape and overweight, that was fucking smaller than you, and all you did was 1-2 him to death. Yeah, your volume was great. Okay. You think that's how you gonna beat me? When you get in there with me and I'm moving and I'm throwing back and I'm accurate and I hit you with a banger, it's going to change your whole mentality of, what you thought you were going to do. So what happens when you don't have a second game plan or you don't have a third game plan? You're cooked. You know what I'm saying? Then you're like, fuck, I didn't prepare right for this, or this was differently. And you're gonna, when you get in there against guys like, bro, I fought for a fucking world title against the best of the best. You think I'm fucking worried about you, Matt Guymon? You had me like, bro, you literally talking like I was scared of you, talking like I was running from you. And then when I proved it to you, he's still running with that. Oh, guess he's not running anymore. You and I both know I wasn't running in the first place. Now come in and prove it. Now come in and show me. Now you got what you were asking for. But I think he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. And like I said, I ain't taking him lightly. He's a fighter. This is bare knuckle. Anything can happen, but I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work, skill, and preparation wins these battles, And then obviously there's the mental aspect of it. When you may, I don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. He may have got a personal trainer. He may be working fucking 4 times a day. I don't know. And I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I watch this style of fighting. I understand how I can beat them. And I have 2 or 3 different modes that I can kick it into to beat these guys. And my coaches around me that have been with me since the beginning, they know. They see it in me. They tell me. All my sparring partners have told me how much I've leveled up. And that solidifies for me who I know who I am, how I know who I am. When Dave Mandell's texting me personally, like, bro, you felt good in sparring, you leveled up. I mean, bro, he's fucking 45 pounds bigger than me. Then you're talking, I had my other main sparring partner. So I got a guy who's fighting at OCC boxing next weekend who was one of my main sparring partners. And he's fighting at 165. Bro, I'm walking around at 150 sometimes. You know what I mean? So I'm in there 12 rounds of 3 minutes sparring with this guy, working with him, man, like giving him that work to where he's texting my phone after like, bro, you on point, bro. You leveled up, bro. Like, that's all I need, bro. That's what motivates me. You know what I mean? All these people around me. So the only thing left now to do is prove it. You know what I mean? And I don't have shit to prove to anybody else. It's for me. Just so I could be like, fucking told you so. I knew it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people wrote me off after that title fight, man. They're like, man, that's who we expected to come out. That's who we thought he was going to turn into. Good, good. Keep thinking that because it's only on up for me to turn it on and turn it off. Because remember, this happened to me before at the Game Bread. I fought the Olympian on fucking like a 4-day notice. That shit, I couldn't take it serious because I didn't have enough time to take it serious. So I just kind of went in there, threw the cards up in the air and see where they were going to land. And when you're fighting an Olympian that flew in on a private jet with fucking Roy Jones Jr., probably ain't going to go your way. You know what I mean? And BKFC kind of shunned me for that shit. They were like, oh, yeah? You want to go out there and look like shit? Okay, watch what happens next. I had to fight Travis fucking Thompson for my fourth fight. And I really was my third fight because Shady didn't give me a fight. It was right after the Shady fight. You know what I mean? And I had to go right to the big dog. You know, Travis was, I think, like 5-4 at the time, hungry as hell. And, you know, he was around me and they thought he had, you know, world champion Keith one-time Thurman in his fucking corner, training out Keith Thurman's gym with Keith Thurman's trainers. They thought I was going to be easy work. He dropped me in sparring, you know, a couple of years prior to that. So he's like, oh, I got Reber. No, I came in with a different mentality, a different training, different mindset. And I gave him fucking hell that night. As everybody can remember, it went 6 rounds, man, with one of the toughest SOBs to do it. You know what I mean? So don't fucking talk to me about scared or running or that's not the way, bro. You know what I mean? As far as Matt Guymon goes, this is easy. He's gonna get everything he asked for and more. So, you know, like I said, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to fire in on all cylinders, man, and you know, give him hell.
Yeah, May 2nd is going to be an awesome card, man. That very stacked BKFC fight night. And I mean, it just seems like you're in such a great place. I mean, no stranger to working with guys like, Dave Mundell and Julian Lane, champions and ranked contenders in their respective divisions. Also cool that you're going to share a card with Quentin Gaskins. That's always cool. But
Well, and me and Quentin go back. You know, me and Quentin are fucking our boys, you know, like now he's in my division, but we don't look at shit like that. If the fight comes up in the future for a #1 spot or whatever, I mean, shit, it's cool, bro. Like we still be brothers at the end of the day. We've beat the shit out of each other in sparring plenty of times. You know what I mean? So it's like, he's a ultra highly talented fighter too, man, and I got nothing but respect and love for him, man, and I hope he comes out and does his thing. And you know, he was one of my first ever interviews. I didn't even know he was a fighter when he was coming around doing interviews. Then he kind of threw out there like, yeah, I fight too. I'm like, yeah, sure you do. And then I looked at his credentials. I was like, damn, he really does fight. And then we sparred and I was like, damn, he really does do this. You know what I mean? So I'm happy too that he's on the card. You know, I got, you know, some of the shift guys, I know they're kind of shifty with me, you know, like Larimore. I'm sure he's badmouthed me a couple times, but his